All right, put that ear to the ground inside the Beltway and you will hear the rumblings of those lawmakers who scoff at all the doom and gloom over Obama trade and claim it's necessary for America. Then again, you'll also likely hear whispers from the backroom dealings and the mountains of deals that were cut to give the president what he so desperately wanted. Remove your ears from the ground. Give attention then to veteran political analyst, commentator, co-author of the must-have book to prep for the coming election, Power Grab, Obama's dangerous plan for a one-party nation. Dick Morris is back in the house. Dick, you got to make some sense of this now for the American people, because there's people out there saying, wait a minute, we're told Obama trade is a great deal. We cannot exist without it. Why are you guys fighting against it so hard?
Well, first, let's put something to rest. It's got nothing to do with trade.
Thank you.
The World Trade Organization, which is a global body, says you can't have tariffs of more than 3%. In other words, they used to be 30 and 40%. So without this, the tariff would be 3%. No big deal. And 65% of the U.S. trade with those 13 countries is Canada and Mexico, which is already free trade under NAFTA. Can't get freer than free.
Yep.
So it's got nothing to do with trade. And the Pacific Partnership, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, is a fairly innocuous treaty that gives some intellectual property rights and gives the basis for litigation, like if a state adopts a ban on genetically modified food, a company can sue over it. But the reason they want fast track is not that. It's the treaty coming behind the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That's the evil one, called the TISA, Trade in Services Agreement. It's because of that treaty that Ted Cruz just flipped on this issue.
Right.
And the reason none of us flipped before is that it wasn't known what was in that treaty, but WikiLeaks published it 7 days ago. And now we know what's in that treaty. And that treaty says that there shall be free flow of labor between the United States and any country that signs the treaty, like Mexico or Eastern Europe or whatever. And what that means is that if Sheraton Hotels wants to transfer its cooks and its dishwashers and its chefs and its waiters and waitresses from a restaurant in Latin America or from one in Eastern Europe to the United States, we may not keep them out, and we may not insist that there's no American willing to take the job. And they can get away with paying the wages they did before.
The most cogent explanation I have heard thus far, because it puts it very simple. It is taking American jobs. End of story.
We all know that the manufacturing sector, which is about 20% of our economy, has been decimated by foreign competition and outsourcing. But the service sector has been largely immune, because you can't deliver the services if you're 4,000 miles away. But if you can move your people into the United States to deliver the services, who is going to hire an American?
Anybody who can get it cheaper is always going to take it cheaper, Mr. Morris. We know that. All right. So now we finally have a good basis for that.
So what Obama wants is the ability to fast track this, pass it, and then Congress can't control immigration.
So, but let's talk about Congress here for a couple minutes then, and let's talk about one guy, John Boehner. Because Boehner was out there fighting for this, we're going to get this done, and basically what we're hearing from the Hill is that he told a lot of people, you don't side with me, I'm going to pay you back for it. And now we're seeing that with a lot of different people here. But Boehner's taking actions against his own people. Isn't this going to split the party even further?
It will. It'll undermine Boehner. Probably will be the basis for a leadership challenge if he runs again. But the amazing thing to me is that the TISA, which is what I've been talking about, was not available for Boehner to look at it. Nobody could look at it. It was totally secret.
Was he duped?
Probably, because he couldn't see it. Then WikiLeaks published it, and rather than revise his opinion, which is what Cruz did, and a Democrat did, I forget which one, of Cardin, Ben Cardin from Maryland, both flipped and voted against fast track. Boehner just kept on going in the same direction. And it's outrageous. This is a bait and switch. Pass fast track for Trans-Pacific Partnership, and then we'll slip in the immigration treaty.
Is Boehner going to live to regret this?
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
How so?
Well, I think that it depends whether he's going to hang it up after this year. It's always possible he goes on to the great hereafter and nobody doesn't regret nothing because he's having fun fishing. But if he stays in Washington, this could be the basis of a leadership challenge. And once the trade and services agreement is signed and fast-tracked and passed, and Congress can't legislate immigration, everybody who voted for this thing is going to be like the Democrats who voted for the Iraq War. They'll be trying to explain why they did it.
And the president and his people are laughing all the way to getting things signed, if you will. That's outstanding. Right. Thanks so much for putting it in some simple terms, finally, instead of all the extra fluff that we're getting from a lot of the other people. By the way, want to remind everybody, don't forget Power Grab, Obama's dangerous plan for a one-party nation. You want to read and find out how to get ready for the 2016 election? There you go. Thanks a lot, Dick Morris. Always a pleasure seeing you. Stay right with us. We're back to focus on more about America and more about dangerous plans. That's what we do every night, right here on the fastest 60 Minutes in News, The Hardline.